Season 2 of True Detective is a well-acted, rushed mess that will forever be known as a disappointing little brother to one of the greatest seasons of television ever. Now, what I can give this season is that unlike other shows, it doesn't go completely off the rails like Dexter or The Walking Dead, or more recently, Riverdale.
That means you haven't known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of high school football.
David Cronenberg was approached to direct the first episode of Season 2, but, and I quote, "I thought the script was just bad." Nick Pizzolatto had 3 years to write Season 1, but only had 1 year to write Season 2. Listen, I know it's not fair to trash something that wasn't completely finished, but f*** it, I'm gonna do it anyway. Before we spoil it, please watch Season 1, and if you want to waste 8.5 hours of your life, give Season 2 a shot. Season 1 of True Detective was directed by Cary Fukunaga, and because one guy was behind the camera, it feels more like a movie rather than a TV show. Season 2, on the other hand, had 6 guys behind the camera, and because of this, it feels more like your run-of-the-mill cop show that your grandpa watches while he rots away in retirement. Now, I'm not saying having multiple directors is a bad thing. Shows like Barry, Stranger Things, and Breaking Bad have multiple directors, and they're still really good most of the time. No, get that shit out of here. Season 1 was shot in 35mm, and because of that, every frame looks so beautiful and yet so damn disgusting. However, Season 2 was shot on the Area Alexis XT Plus, and because of that, everything's incredibly grainy to the point where it has this colors having seizure look to it. In Season 1, we have 2 main characters, Rust and Marty. In Season 2, we have Ani, Ray, Paul, and Frank, and every one of them has multiple subplots that don't link back to the main story. Ray's kid and drug problem, Annie has her dad, her sister, this guy, and in episode 8 we find out she was raped as a child. Frank has his land deals, not being able to have a kid, his relationship with his wife. Paul has his mom, his girlfriend who's pregnant, his longing to f*** dudes, his past, and his rape charges. And because of this, the main story is set aside for...
I mean, what can I say? I just really like big dicks. No. It's not just length. Everybody's always talking length, but it's fine. I mean, girth, too. I really want to have trouble handcuffing the thing, like...
This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
In the first 13 minutes of Season 1, we're introduced to our characters and who they became. We then immediately get the case that jumpstarts the rest of the season. We also know our characters' opinions on this case.
It's fantasy enactment, ritual, fetishization, iconography. This is his vision. Her body is a paraphilic love map.
How's that?
An attachment of physical lust to fantasies and practices forbidden by society.
You get that from one of your books?
I did. Decent odds she was a prost. He might not have known her, but... this idea goes way back with him.
You got a chapter in one of those books on jumping to conclusions? Today, that scene, that is the most f***ed up thing I ever caught.
And nothing feels rushed. It took Season 2 an entire episode to do what Season 1 did in 13 minutes. And instead of seeing the case that jumpstarts the rest of the season, we instead get side stories. Taylor Kitsch is one of the worst actors in Hollywood, and Paul Woodrow is probably the worst part of the season. He's a clump of unresolved character arcs, and his vague past in the military, where he might have massacred a village, feels so pointless. Had Hannah Baker used it, she might still be with us. Had we had flashbacks and seen this character do what he supposedly did, he might have been an interesting character. But because we don't know who these characters were, I don't care who they became. Now, I don't want everyone to think that I need everything explained to me. Russ didn't need a 20-minute flashback of his time undercover, so we got it with dialogue sprinkled throughout the season.
It's just some stuff I kept in case some work came back on me.
What is that?
Ink and cayenne. Here, taste this again. Looks contused.
How long they have you out there, working the corridor?
Almost 4 years.
4? What the hell? These seasons ain't supposed to do more than 11 months.
But when none of your characters are given cohesive backstories, I don't give a when they die. All Season 2 is telling and no showing. So when the one flashback we get involves Frank giving Ray info on his wife's rapist, of course it's gonna be fake! Hey Nick, what's more interesting? Seeing Ray kill the man he thought raped his wife, or hearing about it? Oh geez, I think diamonds are pretty cool. Okay, let's take a break from all this negativity and talk about some stuff I liked, because there is some good stuff in this season. The theme song is really good. Leonard Cohen will always kick ass. Frank's death was without a doubt the best scene in this season. I liked watching Taylor Kitsch get shot in the back. The scene where Ray beats up the kid's dad was pretty funny. Oh, that's it. Season 2 tried to one-up Season 1's long take. The problem is, it's not a long take, nor do our characters have any involvement in what's going on. Marty threatens this guy to get information on Reggie. Russ steals coke from the evidence locker to give to his old contact. This is just bad luck. The shootout itself is also extremely confusing. Okay, so these cops get shot at the exact same time, even though there's only one shooter? And they're also the only two not wearing bulletproof vests? And then everyone runs across the street. Why not hide behind those cars? No, let's just stay in the firing zone as long as possible. I'm sorry, f***ing what? How the f*** did this happen? First off, you have to be an incredibly horrible shot to shoot at the floor above the person you're shooting at. Second off, why is anything that explosive so close to your window? Oh, hold on, my producer's telling me we have a deleted scene to show you.
This is not meth.
Okay, so now Tegan's dead, but wait a minute. The shooter's shooting on the right side, so how'd he get shot on the left side of his body? And how is their curve that good? For that curve to have happened, he would have had to be shot from the front or back. So there's a subplot with these diamonds, and I'll try to explain it the best I can. In 1992, during the LA riots, Ben Casper and Holloway stole these diamonds to bribe the mayor to get a higher paying job. And in doing this, they killed the parents of Leonard and Laura. Years later, Laura becomes a prostitute and goes to these mass and some girl named Tasha tells her that Casper has these diamonds. Laura then meets with Casper and gets a job from him. After Leonard and Laura reunite, Laura drugs Casper and Leonard tortures him, eventually killing him. Leonard then goes to Casper's place and shoots Ray and steals the hard drive and uses it to lure Holloway into a trap. However, Ray's able to stop him and gets Holloway to reveal everything. And yes, that is the kid from The Wizard. This is where we find out that Laura is actually Casper's daughter. Leonard can't handle that and then kills Holloway.
The girl, the little one, that was Ben's illegitimate daughter.
Now, this might sound pretty simple, but between all the side stories and the plank of wood that is Taylor Kitsch, it is damn near impossible to keep up with any of this. The ending of Season 1 has Marty and Russ killing the Yellow King and almost dying in the process. They won, but there's still members of the cult out there. And because of this, it's a very bittersweet ending. Season 2 ends with Ray, Frank, and Paul dead, and Annie fleeing to Mexico with Frank's wife. Vinci is just as corrupt as when we started, if not more, and we cut to a year later as Ani has the evidence she needs to expose Vinci. Season 2 is a convoluted mess with too many characters and subplots to care about. And although it's not as bad as other shows in later seasons, it's a far step down from Season 1 to the point where it doesn't deserve the name True Detective.